Hello, people. Monday, 8:30 in the morning. I was determined to to skip sleep a whole night, other than the bathroom stops that we old men have to make because we drink too much coffee, or even when I don't drink coffee, it's still the same. Just got up a little while ago, you know, opened up the house, turned on the heat for a minute. Cheers. Thankful. I'm thankful. I'm back in black. What is it? What is it? Icky Blossoms. Icky Blossoms. Any of you people have that record? I helped to write it. I didn't play on it, but I helped write the first album. And I gave them a hook that helped them make money. I knew I would too. So, how are you all doing? How am I doing today? Well, it's another day. Like I said, I'm thankful. I'm here in my home drinking coffee. Life is the same. The mental, I'm just keeping it local because I can't do nothing about the national and international. But I'll tell you what, the messages that I'm receiving are very encouraging, but also perplexes me. How did, with all of the good people, how did this happen? How did this happen? Something doesn't quite add up, and yet it's going to go forward. There won't, if they cheated or something strange happened, we'll never know, because rich people get to do what they want and they just plow ahead and do what they want. I'm going to talk about music, but like I said, it's my channel. I hope you're watching. Dan posted a picture of me and Kelly on my Facebook page today. I will never forget Kelly. I'd love to sell some more RAF records, but we have to find a way to play one more time. As we've talked about, we've got to present that music one more time to the public in honor of Kelly and also us. Then we'll probably sell some more records. I'm going to look at the comments here. Thank you, people. Here's one that I like. I like them all, but I like what this person says. He says, I very much relate to not being this connected with common behavior and conventions of society, up to the point that I'm still single in my 40s and not planning to change that anytime soon. But I think we are conscious people with our own destiny, and we are needed in a different way. I like that. I like that because I feel that. I always have. Making peace with that solved so many issues I have been dealing with since childhood. It's always very pleasant to hear other people speaking about it too. Have a great week. Thank you for sharing that, because you said what I have felt forever. It's like, I know I'm different, but it's a blessing. It's not a curse. And I look at people who are what we consider average, normal. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like other people. Am I putting other people down? No, I'm just saying I could do better than that. Barris, you don't have to be asking me these silly ass questions now. You know what I drank. Come on, man. Somebody's asking where to buy my record on vinyl. I wish Inner Image. I don't feel like um going out and trying to get it put on vinyl. And once I do, it'll probably be a year at least before it would appear. Um, I haven't stopped wanting to put stuff out on vinyl, but it's an ordeal. I would love it if someone would approach me like something that's going to happen in December that I keep forgetting to mention, but I don't have my copy yet. Some of you may remember that I mentioned a while back last year I was contacted by the label Dark Entries, and they wanted to license an old song of mine to use on an upcoming gay pride record. And I agreed it wasn't much, but the fact that they liked the old track and want to use it associated with gay pride, I said, wow, there was nothing gay about the song. It wasn't even, I didn't think of the song as sexy. It's on my first EP, the one with the finger on it. I said, yeah, you can use it. But I just found out a few days ago that it's going to be released on vinyl in December. One track on this gay compilation. I'll put the link to the Bandcamp site because it's online already. And I'm very happy to be a part of the project. Very happy to stand up for gay pride. I do not identify as gay. I've shared with you that when I was young, I explored it. I love the music. I love the dancing, but I had some traumatic experiences that do not relate to. I'm not gay. I'm just a human being, and to be real blunt about it, I do not like nasty, hairy ass men. I sure don't. I like love and touch, and I'm just aware that unlike a lot of people who claim to be normal, who say that I'm straight, I think a lot of people are in denial of their real essence. Our essence is sexual, and that can manifest in many different ways. I'm aware of it. Okay, so I don't have to call myself nothing except a human being. Okay, but I understand that the album is coming out in December, and I should receive a copy, and I'll be proud to show it. I love having my shit come out on vinyl. I do. I love it. I'd love to see Inner Image on vinyl, but I'm not feeling motivated to send out a lot of letters and try to solicit it. I'm not. So if it happens, it happens. Excuse me, but the music is there. Okay. So I kind of recap my days in a way. Yesterday was a good day, but it was a day spent in this room for the most part. Now here's something I need to share, because I just rip and there's things that I forget to share. I'm glad I remembered to share the thing about the Gay Pride Dark Entries record coming out. But I learned a while ago through my travels in different experiences about the importance of silence, the importance of being congruent with your so-called values. And so I don't do it every day, but yesterday I spent part of the day here in silence here in the room. I turned the computer off. I turned the stereo off. And I just sat here, looked out the window, and I didn't meditate specifically yesterday. I just sat in silence. I do meditate sometimes. Is it the transcendental meditation technique? Well, I learned that. But no, I just go with the Buddhist idea of, let your thoughts flow, disconnect, let it flow like a river. It's hard to do, but once it happens, it's amazing. There's a few small Buddhist temples here in town with monks, and I used to go sit in meditation with the monks and other people from the neighborhood who were Buddhist. I used to do that on a regular basis. It's healthy, but it's also hard on the knees. And it was like after a while I realized, well, this is cool, but I don't have to do this. I've got what I need from it. So I have a new piece of music that is coming along. It's not complex, but it's another beautiful. It's like, wow. And it's in contrast. I won't try to play it just because I'm still working on it, but it's in contrast to the dour, sour mood, funeral mood of the Cure piece that I was inspired to do, where I shared it recently. This one is much more hopeful, you could say, healthy, I would say it is. It's like the sun is still shining. That's what is happening when I play this track. I can't play it now. I'm going to work on it more today. But besides that, and sitting in silence, which really helped, it really did, to center myself. I played some old music. It does make sense that at a time of emotional upset, which is what many of us are dealing with, that the old and familiar can be a place to retreat to or to go to for comfort and strength. And I just naturally started playing some old favorites, and here's what I played. This one has extreme sentimental value to me, this copy of this record, but Andre Segovia, master classical guitarist, he was like no other. I love classical guitar, but Segovia was so unique that I can hear classical guitar and I can tell you if it's Segovia or not. He was amazing. This album, I've mentioned many times in my videos over the years, the Reese brothers, these kids I met in high school who were Air Force brats, who turned me on to a lot of prog and krautrock. Well, I used to do sleepovers at their place. They were raised in Europe, so they were different, not American. Their mom was French. And I just liked that. And their mom liked me. She hated it that we smoked so much pot. That pissed her off, because we're kids smoking pot. But she would let us, but she didn't like it. But she liked me. So when they moved, right quick, this story, when they moved from Omaha, the boys gave me a bunch of their records, but their mom gave me records too because she liked me and realized that I liked certain things, and she gave this to me, the Segovia album. And this is just one of my favorites. I played this a couple times all the way through. In particular, the Alexander Tansman suite in Modo Polonico on side 1. Oh. And then the Federico Mompou suite Compostelana. And then it ends with 2 pieces by Maria Esteban de Valera, 2 miniatures. Fantastic. It just touches me. It's so beautiful. And his playing, still, look at that, the original inner sleeve. His playing is so nuanced and touching. You can feel the reverence and the respect that he has for the instrument as he plays it, and the mastery, just the little technique things that will happen, the way he scrapes the strings for a particular passage, and just, so that was one. Saved my soul. Here's another one. I don't know how I discovered this piece of music, but this is a classical piece that I absolutely love. Walton's Sonata for Strings. Is it William Walton? Yes, William Walton, Sonata for String Orchestra. This particular version is my favorite because I've looked up since I've had this for years. I don't know how I got turned on to it, but decades ago. I had this album for decades. And so I loved it so much that I actually looked up other versions of it. This is the one for me. It captures an ambience. It captures the ambience of a particular performance and moment in time on Argo. The Academy of St. Martin in the Fields, directed by Neville Mariner. This is a desert island album. The Segovia in this rates along with anything I'm ever showing, any of the rock, any of the jazz. This is up there with those. These two are 2 of my favorite albums of all time. And it did the trick. Boy, it helped. It was just wonderful, And I did find myself reminiscing, thinking about things, recalling feelings. After I shared the thing about the Cold War from my childhood, that played into it as I listened to this music, and other memories came up, some traumatic and many very comforting. But it was interesting how it all just music. It's amazing. I forget the fella's name. We actually spoke in a Zoom conversation once. Young black man who watches me. If you see this, thank you for these records. But he sent me some records, some test pressings. And one of them is this. I listened to this all the way yesterday, and it's like, wow. Tanariwen. Like Madhu Mokhtar, these guys have been making inroads in Western music. This is a test pressing of, I believe it's their first album. Tessely is the name of the album. And wow. I don't speak the language at all, but it's the guy that's singing on this one sounds older. And they do a couple chants as well, and it just took me away. It's fantastic. Tanariwen. Tassili. Test pressing. Thank you, friend. Here's one I played that I like it, but there's a but. Excuse me. I'm trying to see, is this Canadian? I think it's Canadian. Solstice Mirage. A bit on the jazzy side. Nice playing. The lead instrument is a clarinet, and the timbre of the clarinet is something that I think most people are in agreement. That's why it's not much of a lead instrument. The timbre of the instrument is tiresome after a while. It doesn't have the tonal weight of some of the other woodwinds. So I enjoyed this, but the clarinet solos were a bit annoying, to be honest. And so it's like, okay, if we just could have played something else, this would be good. But it's a pretty good album. Solstice Mirage. Here's another one from my past that I'd forgotten about, and it brings me a lot of comfort. And I bought this back in the 70s. I've had this that long. Narciso Yepes, however you say his name. Musica Catalana. Again, I can't remember how I learned about this album, but this is a desert island favorite. Oh my God, this is so wonderful. And interestingly, on here, he starts the album with a composition by Segovia. It's beautiful. There's more Federico Mompou on here, okay? And Narciso Yepes does his own compositions on here. It's wonderful. I love the sound of classical guitar. This music, it's like soul saving. It's just so good. Now I played some other stuff, and here's one that I listened to. It was not like those other records. It was like, okay, I haven't played this. Let's listen to this. It's a soundtrack, Un Vita Venduta by Ennio Morricone. Now, what, if anything, this album shows is Morricone's mastery of writing and arranging, because I've never seen the movie, but listening to the music, after a while I said, okay, I get it. This is very dramatic, and parts of this is really harsh, but masterful in the way that it's composed and realized. So that was another one that. What else? I'll go until I'm done. This is fantastic. John Hassell, Power Spot. Took me a long time to finally hunt down a vinyl copy of this. I had it forever on digital. John Hassell was an inspiration to Brian Eno starting ambient music as a term. among other people. This, Michael Brook is on here. Brian Eno is on here. This, it's a sound world unto its own. Here he is. Fantastic. If you've never heard John Hassel's music, it's like no other music. It's not jazz. He called it fourth world. Fourth world. I'll agree with that. Absolutely amazing. I love that cover too. I'm gonna go till I'm done here. Another Morricone soundtrack that I decided to listen to yesterday. This one is completely different from the one I showed before. This one has more melody involved, but it's the soundtrack to Comandamente per un Gangster. Never seen the movie. This was an interesting ride. It's dramatic, but it also goes through parts of dark beauty as well. Interesting vinyl on it too. I love Morricone, and it was because of the spaghetti westerns that I started to pay attention to him. I didn't care for those movies. I cared for the music. Caught my attention. What is that music? Tried to watch those movies. I never made it through a single spaghetti western movie all the way through. I'm not a movie buff. I've worked on movies, and I liked that. I liked having that experience. Okay? But I'm not a big movie watcher. I tried to watch some movies yesterday and just nothing landed. Nothing. This whole thing with Trump driving around in a dump truck and people and telling people they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs, and y'all voted for him to be president? I'm just flabbergasted still. It's going to take me a while to get over this. So, another record that I pulled because I was looking at Spies, I say, I just don't know this album well enough, but I know it's good. And it is real good. Pyramid by Jagged Jazzist. European band. Norwegian, somewhere over there. And this is on Flying Lotus's label. I don't know if he owns it, but I know this label through Flying Lotus. Brain Feeder. Kamasi Washington is on this label too. Good label. This is wonderful. This is jazzy and atmospheric and European and way fucking cool. It comes with this pyramid that, I don't bother with a lot of these little things that they, will put in as extras. I haven't folded the pyramid. I just, don't need to. This album is fantastic. It's interesting that the first track is titled Tomita, but in listening to it, I don't know why it's called Tomita. I don't know why. It's a great track, though. And if you don't know this band, this is incredibly good. Incredibly good. Really good. No, I can't think of someone to compare it to. Somebody else maybe could think of what to compare it to, but it's just freaking good. And this was another one that got played all the way through. Yeah. Music saves my soul. It does. We'll see what I do today. I have to get out the house today. Here's one. It had been in my mind for a while to pull this and play it. I've had this. This is a survivor. This is a survivor of my original record collection that I had as a child. Chris Farlow, From Here to Mama Rosa with the Hill. Chris Farlow was with Atomic Rooster and several other bands. He was a rising star in the 60s and early 70s. He has a funny voice, garbled. It sounds like, I can't do it. It's weird. As a kid when I got this, that was the part that I didn't like, was his voice. But the music, the hill, and the songs, I liked them a lot. And I would just get through his voice. Now, I like it now. It's interesting. I've grown up and it's like, oh, that's okay. I get it now. I was too young. I got this album in like 1970 when it came out. Well, in 1970, I was 14, 15, going on 15. There's my name, like I used to do as a kid. Peter Robinson of Quatermass and a bunch of other bands is the keyboardist on here, and he is a highlight. And the songs, the arrangement of the songs, I really like them. So I hadn't played this easily in decades. Still has the original inner sleeve from when I bought it, where I would write and just do goofy shit as a kid, you know. And I think what I wrote on here in my made-up script was the other Polydor records on here that I had at the time. I don't have them anymore. I see a couple here on here I don't have anymore. So this was a trip into the past that was nostalgic. And yeah, this one was like, it took me back to my bed sit days as a child. Sitting at home in my room as a child. It took me back. And there were many times when the music was just magical. I know there's some more records out because I didn't get to everything that I pulled. And I want to show this other, it's still out, isn't it? Come on. Pardon me, folks. Because I want to play it today. I didn't get to it yesterday. It's down here. These get mixed up a bit. Pardon me. I know I pulled it. It's over here. There it is. So another record that I pulled that I didn't get to yesterday because a lot of my classical records are in the closet. I'm just so out of room. So I actually went in there just looking and digging and lamenting how I need another house. I mean, I need a bigger house. You know, I could literally fill another room with records, you know. But I pulled this because it's been a long time since I played this. I can't remember it. Edgar Varese. And this is a famous album because of Frank Zappa and other people touting it. Ionization, Density, 21.5, Integrales, Octandra, Hyperprism, Poem Electronic. Again, this is an album I've had for a long time. And I am familiar with it. I can kind of hear snatches of it in my mind as I'm talking about it. But I need to play this, and so it's out. Okay? So, thank you folks again for being decent and sharing. I like the fact that some of you feel like you are literally spending time with me, and that you get a sense of camaraderie, and that, yes, we could actually spend time together, and it would be nice if we in person, because that would generally be true, that if we could meet, it would probably be very nice, very heartwarming. It's a very strange time, and yesterday I did what I needed to do. I had a basic blackout on looking at the news channels from around the world because I got a list of them, you know, everything from Al Jazeera to Africa. What is the name of the African news channel? I have to go there. Excuse me, folks. I successfully did not watch. I barely touched on the news channels. Besides the Americans, I look at France, Deutsche Welle in Germany. Where is it? Africa. I forget what they call their channel. Anyway, I've got these, but I had to step away for my own sanity. Okay, so let's just keep moving forward, and if there's any opportunities that we have to lift each other up and to try to somehow make things better, let's do that. Okay, let's care about one another, unlike rich politicians, and not necessarily just rich white politicians. I know that racism exists outside of the Caucasian race. I know that we have racist black people. We have racist in all all ethnicities. But the overall dominant force financially that I'm dealing with looks white. Might be Indian. Might be behind the scenes. I don't know. So that's why I say it. It's not about racial hatred. It's just look about the way it looks, the way it's been forever. It sucks. Have a good day, people. Don't stop admiring and purchasing my music. I didn't get any sales yesterday. Come on. Keep buying it. There's plenty of you that ain't got, not plenty of you who do not have my music, and you need it.